So I'm recording a set of short videos on Mental Health Awareness Week, and this one we're going to spend a little bit of time about re-emerging into the world. I've got a number of friends and family members and myself I'm wrestling with this, where we've done things differently for the last year or so. We've all got coping mechanisms. That's part of life. Some of them are healthy and some of them are less healthy. But this last year, we've not really engaged with many of them in quite the same way. We've got out of practice. The muscle memory of how we interact with them is different. And a number of people are finding that re-entering what used to be normal is quite problematic. There's a rise in social anxiety. There's a rise in things that look and feel like perhaps agoraphobia or PTSD type symptoms, where people are worrying about things that they didn't think they used to worry about. Lots of school children, lots of people going back to offices are finding the commute terrifying. They're finding mixing with hundreds of people just exhausting. They don't necessarily feel it as panic, although some will be having panic attacks or things like that. But they know that something's going on. They're feeling more exhausted as a result of that interaction or even the threat of that interaction. And like everything else that we've talked about in this little series, there's no straightforward, guaranteed silver bullet answers. But there are things that you can do. Be honest with yourself. Notice where you're feeling anxious. Notice what it is that you're feeling anxious about. Talk to somebody. Ask those who live with you or are closest to you if they've noticed changes in your behaviour. For me, when I'm getting anxious, one of the first things that happens is I just get grumpy. I just get a bit more short-tempered with people, irritable. I don't often explode, that's not really who I am, but I'm probably not great company. And I'm trying to process that anxiety. I'm trying to push it down, actually. I don't think that's healthy, but that's what I often do. And then I'll notice that I've been grumpy with somebody who really, really didn't deserve it. And I'll start to ask myself, what is it that I'm avoiding thinking about? What is it that I'm avoiding doing? And like in nearly everything I talk about with my coaching clients, it falls into categories of, can I do something about this or not? Some things we can't do anything about. We have no control over. Some things we can exert an influence over. We can increase the likelihood of an outcome that we want by doing things or not doing things. And some things, when we do a certain thing, pretty much guarantees an outcome. So for example, if one of the things you find yourself anxious about is going back to the office, think about what it is about going to the office that is causing you that anxiety. Is it the length of time of commute and the fact that you've not done that for a year and your body's not attuned to the physical exertions of that? Is it interacting with lots of people and not remembering how to be on your best behaviour, or not remembering how to socialise in ways that you want to, not remembering how you presented yourself when you were with people, how you pretended, rightly or wrongly, that you were a different version of yourself than the one you felt deep inside? And then have a conversation with your employer, with your family, and see what compromises you can come to. For some, that might be working from home a bit more. For some, that might be changing the hours slightly that they work. For some, it might be an agreement that you have an hour at the start of the day where nobody needs to talk to you and you're allowed to just sit there and remember what it is to sit at a desk. There's a myriad of other solutions. For school children, it might be going in for some, but not all of the day. It might be engaging with some, but not all of the lessons that they're used to. And there's a tension with all of this stuff, because what we want to do is push ourselves so that we re-acclimatise to how things were or to a new reality that we want to engage with. But we don't want to push ourselves too far that causes further anxiety or that there's a risk of us breaking. So if it's you, be really, really gentle with yourself. If it's somebody else, be really gentle with them. Gently prod, gently give opportunity to stretch. But if it takes a long time, give it the time that it needs. We've been through a trauma collectively. It's not going to be an easy fix, but the next step is the only ever the important one. So work out what that next step is and do your best to take it. Do your best to help, to find other people who can help you take it if necessary.